Okay, so while this may be the boring outcome, unfortunately for those who are looking for a big, bold news story on a trade or a buyout or whatever, this might be the best case scenario for both parties involved. The Maple Leafs announced today that goaltender Matt Murray is out indefinitely and he will be placed on the injury reserve / long-term injury reserve prior to the start of the year. It's weird how they put it like that, on the injured reserve / long-term injury. Just say LTIR. Elliot Friedman goes out there and says it, LTIR for 23-24. He says here it's as expected, so I guess there were a bunch of people going out there saying that this is the most likely scenario, but based off of my comment section, a lot of y'all were going out there and saying, oh yeah, trade, oh yeah, buyout, it's whatever. But either way, this is okay too. And I wanted to go out there and talk about why that is the case. If you go over to Matt Murray and you look at his situation with the Toronto Maple Leafs, 29 years old, signed till the end of this upcoming season, so 23-24, making $4.6 million a year. 6'4", 179 left-handed catching goaltender. We know everything that's been going on here. Thunder Bay, Ontario, he is a Sioux Greyhounds guy that Kyle Dubas brought in to hopefully have a bounce-back stint with the Maple Leafs. Unfortunately, that is not what he had. He had one good game against Dallas, and the others were not all so great. He had a .903 save percentage, a .301 goals against in 26 games played, and he got outdueled in the playoffs. Plain and simple. You had yourselves other guys like Samsonov and Woll who showed off better, and as a result, they played. So for Matt Murray, this entire situation with the contract, the fact that Samsonov got locked up, the fact that you needed, or not locked up, that's the wrong phrase to use, he got the money given to him by the arbitrator, the fact that you still had Matt Murray on this team, and you didn't really know if he was going to have a significant role moving forward, begged the question as to what the hell the Maple Leafs were going to do. Trade this guy away? Find a way to trade this guy away? You needed to get some extra picks or a prospect or something to attach to Murray to make his contract seem more valuable, or straight up buy him out? But of course, if you take a look at the options presented to Toronto, this idea of putting him on the LTIR was probably the more team-friendly move. Of course, this is good for Murray as well. If he gets bought out, he only gets 2/3 the remaining amount of salary, and it's spread across the next 2 years rather than the next one. If he's on the LTIR, he'll still make the same amount of money. It's just the Toronto Maple Leafs would have the ability to go over the cap by that dollar amount. So for Matt Murray, it's probably better for him to not get 2/3 of that remaining dollar amount spread over the next 2 seasons. Just get the contract over with, get one more year under your belt, and just survive it on the LTIR Robidas Island, as everybody's going out there and saying. Let's go over to the buyout calculator, actually. We're here on Cap Friendly. Let's go out there and see what everything would look like had the Maple Leafs bought this contract out. Where is it? If I look buyout calculator, there you go. Buyout current contract. So Matt Murray, who is going to be making $6.25 million on the cap for the next season, or is that correct? Oh, right. I completely forgot. Yeah, he's making 6 point something because there was money retained from Ottawa. That's correct. My gosh, I am an idiot. Okay, so he's going to be making 6.25 per season. This upcoming year, he would see him making that. If he got bought out, he would end up only having, what is that, $2.6 million in total received from the Toronto Maple Leafs at least. You can see the math. It's all on the screen over here. Let's move that over. Yeah, there you go. So the buyout cost would be $5.33 million for both Ottawa and Toronto, which means that Matt Murray would be getting a pretty significant pay cut had he ended up not being on the LTIR and just getting bought out instead. It would also affect the Ottawa Senators in a negative way. I completely forgot that the guy had salary retained from the Sens. That's my bad. But either way, Murray, LTIR, this is okay because he'll still get the money, he'll get it sooner, and for the Maple Leafs, if they're really able to just prove and say, yeah, Matt Murray's not healthy enough to play, yeah, Matt Murray went through enough injuries, we can't go out there and give him the okay. If that's a viable excuse, which I'm going to assume is, then it's okay, because the Maple Leafs are so high up on the cap anyway that finding themselves the necessary room to maneuver around it is probably useful as well. Putting him on the LTIR gives them the ability to go over the cap by this amount, $10.3 million actually, because you have Jake Muzzin also on the LTIR too. So for Toronto, this is honestly a pretty okay move. And if you wanted to go to the memes, everybody's talking about Robidas Island. This is what the Reddit that goes out there and says, because there was a post made here. What is Robidas Island? You're going to see a lot of people talking about Matt Murray and say that the Maple Leafs are sending him here. This comment from Irish Guy 42 goes out there and talks about the entire thing. Usually, when a player is placed on the IR, which then has a few rules to it, it's usually because they have a short-term injury and will be out for more than 1 or 2 games. Enough that saying they're day-to-day won't suffice. If it's more of a long-term injury, think a couple of months, they are placed on LTIR. That also has its own rules and whatnot to make sure it isn't abused. Robidas Island, well, that's a mythical place. It's like LTIR, but instead of saying, yeah, once they recover from injury, rehab, and whatnot, they'll play some games, teams will just, well, every now and then, just release a statement saying this player is still rehabbing and will be fully healed soon. Just every once in a while to keep it on the media's minds and stop them from asking questions, but the player never fully heals. And then the next thing you know, the player's locker is cleaned out, but the team still releases a statement saying the player is on track with their healing. And then the season is over. And then the team says, well, they'll keep healing, and then we'll see where we are next season. Kappa. Yeah, this is from 7 years ago, so that's why Kappa is in here. And then the media asks, what was that last thing? And the team says, oh, nothing. So Robidas Island is pretty much just the lost realm for players who go out there on the LTIR and never come back. We've seen a few players that the Maple Leafs have sent over the past few years eventually succumb to this fate. Right now, you could say probably the most famous one is Carey Price. There are a bunch of other players on the LTIR that are probably never going to play again. And, the Shea Webbers of the world, the other guys that Arizona is always collecting, it seems. Matt Murray is probably going to be in that situation just regarding the way he has been playing and trending these past few years. I don't really know if anybody's going to go out there and expect Murray to make a full-time recovery and ever come back to this form that he was at when he was winning Stanley Cups in back-to-back years. But at the end of the day, he's a Stanley Cup champion, 2-time at that. He had his ups and downs, he had a very high up, but the downs were pretty bad afterwards. 893 save percentage, 2021 with the Sens, even a 903 save percentage here with the Maple Leafs. The experiment didn't work out. The Sioux Greyhounds connection there with Kyle Dubas and the other Toronto guys, it didn't really work out. So, unfortunately as it is, Matt Murray is going on the LTIR. But at least he's getting paid. At least the contract doesn't go on till the end of time like Shea Weber's or Carey Price's does. At least he will expire soon. And if he wants to sign a contract elsewhere, who knows? It's a prerogative to go out there and do so by the time 2024 comes around. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Matt Murray LTIR situation? This entire thing goes out there and solidifies what the Maple Leafs are going to do here. No trades, no buyouts, no whatever. It's just a regular old LTIR. Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.